Hello and welcome to the NXT review. I'm Michael Sidgwick, joined by Michael Hamflett to discuss everything that went down on last night's show. But before we get into it, if you're a fan of this sort of thing, make sure to subscribe to WhatCulture Wrestling on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Amazon Music, and YouTube for daily wrestling podcasts where we preview and review Raw, SmackDown, the show formerly known as NXT 2.0. Dynamite, Collision, pay-per-views, premium live events. We have wrestler interviews on occasion, roundtable discussions, question and answer time, and a roundup of the week complete with a bloody good quiz, of course, on WhatCulture. Over to you.
Look, there's a bit of apprehension today. I think NXT...
We've been anxious about this.
NXT's biggest fan, always and forever, is not in the room with us today. Adam Wilborn.
Neither's microphone.
Back. That's true. Microphone not here. Adam Wilborn not here. Normal service will be resumed very soon. But also because it's normally Wilborn who Stacks gets in touch with. Have you noticed that? He never rings us.
I like it.
It's always Wilborn that just drops it whenever he's halfway through the podcast, and he ends up being the one that misses it.
It's a good job that we've actually developed a rapport, because there'd be nothing worse than, I guess the real world equivalent would be, I'm going to go for a... Do you want to go for a pint? Mm-hmm. Okay. Can I bring my mate from work? And it's like, I don't really know him that well, but yes. Yeah. And then imagine if you got there with a mate from work and, the glue ain't there.
Yeah.
That would be awkward. So he's a dick for that, but we've developed a rapport with Stacks, so it's fine.
Do you know what? I'm gonna extend the invitation right now. He's not here, but I'm going to be the one to say it, Sidge. We're going on a WhatCulture Wrestling World Tour. We're going to be doing dates in Belfast, Manchester, Glasgow, and London, and ending in Las Vegas, Nevada. And if you're watching this right now, I'm prepared to do it on behalf of all the team. I want to invite Stacks along.
Yeah, I think Stacks
Let's get him along on the World Tour.
I think Stacks should
He's become that much of a friend, that post-work pint kind of guy.
Yeah.
And are these shows nothing if not pre-work pint kind of guys, because they're all going to be before the WWE. If they're in town, then we are too. If you're going to be going seeing CM Punk versus Gunther, Jesus Christ, come and see us first. It's a great place to have drinks, spend a bit of time with us, meet all the wrestling fans. There's going to be a live stage show version of all the nonsense that we do online. Simon Miller's going to be doing a live why or an ups and downs depending on the day. We're going to do live podcast stuff. It's absolutely awesome. It's one of the best things we do is the live show experience. Tickets available at whatculture.com/tickets. And yes, I'll be brave enough to announce Stacks. We've got Stacks himself coming on the live talk.
Indeed. I'm not in Vegas, guys.
No. Said you can't make Vegas.
Daughter's birthday.
I went to Vegas with this man once before, and what happens in Vegas stays in Vegas.
Am I right?
Yeah, it's his dad's birthday. It's going to be great. Yeah, tickets at whatculture.com/tickets. And what we probably won't get a chance to cover on the tour is NXT, Sidge, which we'll do right now.
Such assholes.
We bounced the ball around for 3 minutes and avoided it for as long as we possibly can, but I'm going to throw the ball right back to you. Broad thoughts on the old NXT ski?
I dropped it.
Oh, no.
What a shame. I was, oh, God, what's going on here? I've forgotten. I've forgotten, mate.
Well, right. It's funny you say that. This was eventful.
There was one memorable.
This was eventful, yeah. Stuff went down that we're going to get to.
Just hang around for the Starks crack, if anything else.
That's it. No, both, actually. Watch the Fumble or No Fumble podcast that is now available on YouTube. It was in the audio feeds in the immediate aftermath of the release of the 3 AEW wrestlers, but now one has already shown up in WWE. Luckily, we don't sound stupid on the podcast because we make some pretty sage predictions, I think. But yes, check out that. That's now available on on this YouTube channel if you're watching this now. That was the big talking point coming out of it. But we'll get into the card because there were some other things. There were some changes to Vengeance Day coming up this weekend. There was a significant payoff to one story that bled effortlessly, Mid-South-esque, into a new storyline. We'll get to at the end of the show. But we start with Bayley versus Cora Jade, ahead of, obviously, what was going to be a three-way for the title between Bayley, Roxanne Perez, and champion Julia at Vengeance Day. But Cora Jade has mixed back in lately, obviously, so they're having a singles match. And early doors, Jade's going after Bayley with the kendo stick. Bayley had told the referee to watch out for that stick. But Bayley manages to duck and get out the way of that. And she's kind of like physically dominant over Cora Jade in the early going. The commentators are at pains to put over how Bayley and some of Bayley's greatest NXT matches were the type of matches to inspire Cora Jade to even get into wrestling in the first place. As Vic Joseph is saying that, Bayley positions Cora Jade across the middle ropes and drops double knees through it. That spot, I reckon, might have featured in one of Bayley's best matches ever. But I thought that was a very nice callback. It's all good stuff.
It's all good stuff.
So yeah, Bayley's got the advantage here, and ultimately what happens is Cora Jade, as a heel, is able to cheat to try and like force her way back into it. We come back from one of the downers and uppers commercials, and Bayley is back in control, but Cora does manage a sort of desperation roll up for 2. Bayley keeps working away at her with knees, and when Cora escapes to the outside, Bayley manages to dive through the ropes and take her out. Little bit of lucha from old Pamski. She still got it. She still got it. She goes to pick Cora up.
Does she?
She goes to pick Cora up from that, but gets driven into the apron. Cora Jade is finally able to get advantage, rolls up Bayley back into the ring. She manages to counter a Bayley neckbreaker attempt with some knee strikes. We come back from one more break, and
Still
Bayley,
going, huh?
and Bayley hits the neckbreaker into the ropes this time. But once again, Cora cuts Bayley off, but Bayley manages to go for the Bayley to belly and only gets a near fall. Bayley manages to hit some clotheslines and some forearms, hits that double knee drop as we talked about. Cora fires back. There's a double underhook suplex by Cora Jade. Bayley manages to counter out of that, and they both go into the corner. Cora leaps off the post where Bayley catches her and hits like this sort of swinging sidewalk slam, the Kevin Nash type thing. Gets a 2 count off that. Bayley goes up to the top rope to try and finish her with the elbow drop, but is interrupted by, for me, the biggest pop of the evening. There ain't no stopping us now.
Whoa.
It's not Bayley in 2015 having one of her best matches ever, but it is in fact Roxanne Perez dressed up as Bayley from 2015. Look, I know that's a CFO's all-timer, but if we're still
Suck her instead of hug her.
if we're still legally allowed to use it, why am I doing this at WrestleMania 40? Give her that back. That would have really helped instead of Egypt stuff, which is Bayley's current theme. What's that about? So yeah, Roxanne Perez comes out. She's doing all the old Bayley shtick. That kind of creates a distraction. Bayley rolls out to the floor. Sorry, no, Bayley hits a version of the elbow drop to the back of Cora's neck, but is only able to get 2.
Cleopatra.
That's really good stuff.
It's all good
The
stuff.
Pyramids. Yeah. Speaking of pyramids, the HyperX arena within the Luxor Hotel and Casino with that beautiful pyramid, that's where our Las Vegas show on the April 18th is going to be. Look at all these things getting away and talking about NXT.
Yep.
Aye.
Unfortunately, I don't know what to say about this.
Bayley goes and attacks Roxanne Perez on the floor, but in the distraction, Cora Jade is able to get back in the mix. She hits, what was it again? It was the double underhook DDT that she does on the floor on Bayley. Bayley's pretty much out, rolls her back in the ring, hits her with the next one, which is academic realistic at this point. Cora Jade has defeated Bayley. Now, earlier on, I should have mentioned we saw Julia looking on a monitor backstage. We cut back to that monitor, and Ava, she hasn't got a surname, she's Rock's daughter, the general manager of NXT and the Booker and Cooker of the Year, whispers something into Julia's ear. Want to do an Ava whisper for us? We can't know what she says. Just act.
Say it again.
She whispers into Julia's ear. Julie likes that and nods. So Ava makes her way out to the ring. I should have transcribed this word for word, but I would do my best. She congratulates Cora on the biggest win of her career.
Congratulations on the biggest win of your career, Cora.
And she wants to confirm that she is going to put Cora in the NXT Women's Championship match.
You are now going to be in the NXT Women's Championship match at Vengeance Day. And it's going to be a fatal 4-way match.
And everyone obviously sells that with incredible shock. Ava's very pleased with her decision. Roxanne Perez is less so. She looks a little bit confused by what's gone down here. Cora Jade and Roxanne Perez still have a few words, and then Bayley shoves Cora Jade into Roxanne Perez as a way of a measure of revenge for this. We'll kind of get more of these later back in Ava's office. What do you make of all of this stuff? Senator.
I like that a lot.
It's right there, it's there forever.
That's there forever. It was a good bit. Makes sense for them. Of all the parodies, what a great time to do that. Of like, I used to dress up like this when I was young and dumb and stupid. And now, look what a cartoon you were. I've abandoned you. Like a layer to the parody angle. I wish this was just the whole thing, just a nice little parody. It would have given Roxanne Perez a chance to just maybe flex some comedic flair that she hasn't had the chance to do I'm a sucker for a parody angle. Love them. That friggin' Punk one. Jeff Hardy when he dresses up.
Oh, my God.
That kid in the audience. Amazing.
I really want, like, the Jey Uso music to start and then it to be Gunther. But, like, walking deadpan through the crowd. Like, he'll start up there, but he refuses to yeet or anything. Like, he's wearing the glasses. Like, he just, like, all the music. Just disdain. Just pure disdain across his face.
You might... Basically, there's some moves happened in this match, and I think it was better than the one against Lyra Valkyria, but only just, and only through competent mechanical execution and nothing else in terms of drama or anything. So that was the match, and I don't know what my favourite parody angle is. It's got to be Nash's on. It's got to be Nash's on. And I made myself a career that I have to say was quite excellent. And I've said this before, I'll say it one more time. In terms of the sheer commitment to the makeup and the hair, Kevin Nash put more effort into taking the piss out of Arn Anderson than he did in all but, 2 matches? 1 or 2 matches in WCW?
Waltman is Flair.
No
time.
I love that. The Hollywood Blondes.
Yeah.
First time I saw it, or the first time I read about it. Might have been done before.
The Flair for the old.
Flair for the old.
Yeah.
I mean, it's good stuff. They've just thought of the wordplay and then gone backwards. That is good stuff. It's all good stuff. That's been a good one in ages. The Bucks doing the Hardys was good.
That was really with Gangrel in the middle.
Yeah,
and then they do the bit where Matt falls through the ropes.
He falls off the ropes. That was good stuff. It's almost invariably good stuff.
Yeah.
Ricky Starks in the news, relevant on this podcast, did one on Derby. That was good.
Mm-hmm. I forgot about that one,
Yeah, it's just a classic beat.
Yeah. Sting, of course, whenever he's Sting.
Yeah.
I was like that. It never fails. Oh my God, it's Sting.
NXT 2.0's done a good job of parody of wrestling for the past for the past 4 years.
Patter and satire. Patire, he's got it all.
Imagine listening to this for the first time.
God, oh no. It would also be the last.
Yeah.
If this is your first time listening, thank you very much for choosing the WhatCulture Wrestling podcast for your NXT review. I can assure you that it is better most weeks, but absolutely no more earnest.
Yes.
This is still the peak of his earnest as we're going to get over this. And how could you possibly review this earnestly? Because we go backstage to unlikely duo, Sol Ruka and Zarya. They're bickering over how specifically they win matches. Zarya's like, quick ass, I'm from Mad Max. And Sol Ruka's like, no, they won it because they're...
trademark. That's Crazy Pete.
Crazy Pete. And it's very much, I am a lethal weapon, not to be confused with the film, Lethal Weapon, starring Mel Gibson.
Yes.
Sol Ruka says they won because they did it her way. And why don't you train my way too? With a training session on the beach. And Zarya's like, all right, I'll come to the beach.
Have we not pitched this? Have we literally not?
We have pitched this. Zarya says, all right, I'll train with you on the beach, but we'll do it my way. So what's that like? Is she going to build a cage and have people swinging maces and driving those cars with spikes and flames on them on the beach? I don't know. I can't wait for that, actually. We'll preview that next week.
It'll just be some terrible powerlifting on the beach.
Training on the beach. Nikita Lyons comes into shot because, of course, it's that tiny locker room where at any given point there's just somebody spoiling for a fight. She laughs at the notion.
Tossing the hair back.
Yeah. Laughs at the notion of them going to the beach opposed to her. You imagine me at the beach and you at the beach. Implication being you ugly freaks compared to me, Nikita Lyons. What she calls herself later on? Big Cat Keita.
Big Cat Keita.
She says, you need to touch grass instead of sand.
Right, okay. I need to surgically explore this.
Okay.
Right? Okay. So the idea of touching grass is you're stuck to your phone. You don't have a life outside of these stupid arguments you're getting on the internet or these fixations on wrestlers that you like too much or not enough. And people aren't doing this. They're not putting on a carrier pigeon from the woods that they themselves are doing on a phone. Touch Grace.
Touch Grace.
That's a bit we've not done for a while.
Yeah.
Touch Grace, asshole. Touch Grace.
Guy needs to touch Grace. Guy needs to sign some bitches and touch Grace.
He's scaring the whole Sidgwick.
It feels like vintage, like sort of preserved in amber wrestling Twitter, that doesn't it? It's gotten so vile on there. That is like, remember the touch
It's
grass
almost
signs
quaint.
and bitches days? Yeah.
Almost quaint. But my understanding of the phrase touch Grace is just go outside.
Yeah.
The beach is outside.
Yeah.
It just makes no sense whatsoever.
Yeah, it's like, put down your technology, you become obsessed with it, go and be at one with the real world. But the beach and the sea is as real a part of the world as any bit of grass.
I don't think Big Cat Keita knows exactly what the hell she's talking about.
She's not thought through the true meaning of touch grass. I think that's what's happened here.
Touch grass. What's grass?
Touch grass. That's Malachi Black's personal patch of grass.
Yeah.
My grass. Keep off the grass.
Indeed.
Malachi Black, the park keeper. The park of Black. Keep off the grass.
Keep off the grass.
No ball games on the grass.
No ball.
We might accidentally be entertained.
Sure, I might lose.
Yeah, draws. You can play football, but it's got to be a draw. Or I win. That's your rules.
I'm the Invincibles.
Aye. So yeah, touch grass rather than sand, and she says, Sol Ruka fires back saying, well, at least we're coming off a win last week, which is more than you can see, loser. And Lion says, all right, I get what you're saying. How about a match tonight? You and Big Cat Keita, and obviously they've got a match later on. Zarya and the Keita Lions in action. Well, having a match later.
Well, I'm not. I've got something to say about this.
Got some thoughts?
I got some thoughts. Right, okay. So there's a new verbal tick that Nikita Lyons has developed, which I'm gonna stick my head above the parapet and point out exactly what that verbal tick is.
Okay.
So she does it twice in this segment, and I'm icked both times, right?
Icky to Lions.
Yeah, very good. It's all good stuff. So she, and I'm not joking, watch this for yourself, right? She says, right, God. So they're saying we should train on the beach, them pronoun boy, being Sol Ruka and Zarya. And then Nikita Lyons says, God, imagine you at the beach. Then she says, imagine me at the beach. She comes. Why are you coming after you say things?
Nikita Lyons got one of her cum promos.
Is she not coming?
Yeah.
So if you now that I've said it,
yeah.
So she'll go, imagine you two at the beach. Imagine me at the beach. She's coming at the idea, making little moany sex noises at the idea of herself.
Yeah. So, yeah, that's now something that we need to watch for. How many times did Nikita Lyons come in her promo?
All right. So maybe we could call this segment Multiple Orgasms with Nikita Lyons.
Can you believe we're all in our 30s?
Yeah.
Not me.
Fact. So she goes, imagine me at the beach. Why are you coming? I don't understand why you're having an orgasm there. Or maybe it's not an actual, maybe it's just like a little like moan.
You don't need to touch sand, you need to orgasm.
Yeah.
What's that got to do with it?
Okay. And then she says something like, you with me. Big
Cat Keita.
Big Cat Keita. Why are you coming? Coming or going with Nikita Lyons. That could be the name of the segment.
Multiple orgasms is great.
Yeah.
I do like that.
Because she's like, and then we can.
Did you ever?
So it's called
It's time to play the game. Time to play the game. Ha 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 ha.
Multiple orgasms with Nikita Lyons. So the game will be how many times is she going to make the noise in our next promo?
Good game.
So we'll do that. We'll do that. Here's another thing we can do with this. Mm-hmm. Well, okay. What if, right? You ever? It's pretty gross, but you've picked the right podcast for this sort of thing. You've read the story that Taz jizzed in a match once spontaneously.
No.
Yeah,
Don't think so. Spontaneously jizzed. Combustion. Combusting. Spontaneous combusting.
It's all good
on,
stuff.
Sidgwick.
That's good stuff, that.
No,
You
no,
and me, spontaneous combustion. I read it in Ring of Hell.
okay. It's not
I'm
one.
sure
That's,
it was Taz.
it's not one that stuck. You might be right. It's not one that stuck with me. But was it like? Does he mention the match specifically, or is it
The
just
human ejaculating machine.
It's good.
I'm sure it was Taz. It's the section of Ring of Hell where they're talking about how like incredibly awful bumping is on your body and how bumping can inform the head injury and all the rest of it. But he's trying to set the scene of how much pro wrestling hurts. Just full stop.
No, can't not do that. See if I can find the story, but
I will.
too many things.
I will say.
Oh, that sounds That
I will
odd,
say
odd
that
wrestler story.
I will say just protect our backs and everything. That Taz conditionally busted. Conditional bust, okay?
Mm-hmm.
I'm fairly certain I read that Ring of Hell. I've got a copy downstairs. I will double check that and revert back to you on
That's my
next week's
copy. I
pods.
brought it in so we could just occasionally treat ourselves to a little
yeah.
portion of this, the grossest view of pro wrestling
Yeah,
ever by
yeah.
somebody that just did the work.
Yeah.
A journalist that has no respect for it as an industry, maybe?
A fan, I think a Laps fan.
A Laps fan. Okay.
Yeah.
It's a good book. Ring of Hell.
Yeah.
Matthew Randazzo the Fifth.
Yes. Yes. So what if, because if Taz nutted conditional nut, a conditional nut, we'll verify the nut.
Yeah.
Later on in time for the next NXT cycle of podcasts.
T-Bone a Tazplex.
Yeah. So on the basis that Taz conditionally nutted.
Head and arm Tazplex.
What was his training school? What was that called?
It was the House,
The extreme
House of Hardcore, wasn't
House
it?
of Hardcore Pornography.
That's
Wrestling
good.
School. Yeah. So on
Of
the
course,
base,
the only graduate from the House of Hardcore was Chris Wetty.
yes. Well, verify the nut, but I'm fairly certain it was that. If I've made that up,
No,
that's anyway. What if Nikita Lyons starts coming in a matches?
what happens then?
Just takes a suplex and goes,
Yeah,
because she.
but obviously she's able to then carry on the match because multiple orgasms are a thing. We've got kids, aren't we? We're just doing this on a podcast.
Yeah. I thought you were going to talk about the penile refractory period.
I was not, no.
Okay, and the age and stuff.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Yeah, it's all good stuff.
it's all good stuff.
It's something to watch for next week and every week going forward on
Taz
NXT.
might jizz on Dynamite. You never know.
You never know.
Stranger things have happened. And you know what they say in this business? What do they say in this business? What's the number one rule of the business? If you respect it,
Never say never.
Taz might jizz on Dynamite. That's all I am saying.
We didn't preview Dynamite this week because it was taped and we respect the process too much. But that
I didn't read any spoilers that
me
he
neither.
jizzed.
But that is a hell of a prediction for tonight's show. In absence of a preview, we are doing a Q&A. Taz might jizz on Dynamite.
Might.
There you go. I love where that went. Wilborn will be buzzing.
Yeah.
Came to the game in his absence. And it's a kind of a genre of NXT that's been sorely missing for the last year or so. That
He
he's
won't. He
specifically a big
doesn't
fan of.
sell that. He does not sell that.
Doesn't like it, does it? He doesn't want to face the truth on that one. Obafemi is here. The NXT champion, obviously. He's got his match against Grayson Waller and Austin Theory at Vengeance Day. And what he's trying to do is do away with the usual nonsense of like, what are you thinking? Yes, it's 2-1 advantage, but what's going to happen if one of you even stands a chance of getting the advantage on me? Then you've got to go for each other, and it's going to be your biggest downfall. Ultimately, what you think is your biggest advantage is in fact a disadvantage, and I'll still leave Vengeance Day with the title. A-Town Down Under answer the call, basically. Grayson Waller calls him overrated. And he says he understands the pressure of being champion. They've got a lot of pressure because one of them wants to win. But he thought that Obafemi was better than this. He thought that he'd try harder than simply to try and stir it up between them as a tag team. Austin Theory is putting over Grayson Waller. He's saying, Grayson Waller did so much in NXT. This man was like jumping off ladders, going through tables. He was risking his career. But Grayson Waller doesn't get the credit that your likes of your Carmelo Hayes and your Tony D'Angelo and your Braun Breakers they get. And with sort of all of that legacy and all that pedigree, he's going to help me, Austin Theory, become NXT champion. Grayson Waller takes it back and kind of like the volume back and forth says, Obafemi, you're fighting Austin Theory. Guy's a massive star. And he did it dead easy. Simply all he had to do was ride shotgun with Johnny Gargano, and now he can ride shotgun with the champion, me, Grayson Waller. It's all right between them, because I'm not so sure.
Who likes this junk, mate?
Look at you both. You can't both become NXT champion. And Grayson Waller says, yeah, I'm sick of hearing all those former champions' name. I want that run with the title. I'll do whatever it takes, including, and then he kind of looks at Austin Theory, and Austin Theory says, well, including what? I never got the NXT championship either. I had the US championship. You've not had one of them, have you, Grayson? And then, you've not done the things that I've done on the main roster. Certain things, John Cena at WrestleMania, and Waller's like, oh, everybody knows you beat John Cena at WrestleMania. Shut up about beating John Cena. The match wasn't even any good.
Yeah, it didn't do anything for you.
He doesn't say that, but yeah, big deal. So what, you beat her. If anything, your big WrestleMania moment was because of me, because I was the one holding the belts up at WrestleMania in that ladder match at WrestleMania 40. Austin Theory says, look, I'm just getting started around here, and I'll do what it takes to be the champion. So what do you mean? What do you mean by that? And basically, it looks like ultimately Oba's plan has worked, and they're going to end up fighting each other. Waller takes a swing for Theory. Theory ducks, and Waller smashes Obafemi in the face because he's just behind them going, yeah, get each other. Kind of like a bit of a geek, I thought, in this. Get him, guys. And anyway, he takes a sort of a wild swing, but it turns out to be a bit of a plan from the heels. They knew they were going to potentially fall out.
What's happened to Obafemi?
Foreshadowing that they're going to fall out in the match, but on this night at least, they're able to work together. They beat Obafemi down. They do their pretty cool double team move where Austin Theory hits his go to sleep sort of thing, and it gives time for Grayson Waller to roll to the floor and hit his springboard stunner outside in deal. Obafemi's left laying. They both have a moment with the belt, and then they agree on the night at least to throw it on Obafemi's prone body, shake hands, and do a bit of a best man wins side eye at each other.
Yeah, I hate this. I don't hate it. I don't hate it at all, because that's such a strong word for something I have so little interest in. Am I going to praise? They said them, Prone Hambor, Grayson and Waller.
Grayson in Theory.
Yeah, whatever, the same. No, it's all the same to me.
They're all Mrs. Michael.
They're all Mrs. Miz personality type, sub Seth Rollins work. Mm-hmm. And Seth Rollins is a sub AJ Styles, who has since been bettered by Omega and Ospreay. So what does that say about these guys? Did I enjoy them basically saying, we're going to do the thing that happens in triple threat matches, so don't worry about that, Oba? Mm-hmm. Because they're going to subvert that, aren't they? They're going to try and do it, and then they're both going to eat tables.
Yeah.
I quite like that.
Yeah. I think
a little bit of an awareness of what this is.
That's it. This match could over-deliver only because the expectations on this dynamic are always super low.
Yes, that's a good way of putting it.
And I think there might be something to this on the night. And Obafemi's the right guy to kind of... This at least will make him take them seriously enough, because he wasn't beforehand. And Obafemi shouldn't. He's the ruler. Why should he care about A-Town Down Under? But now he has to a little bit, just the right amount, and he'll batter them both when the time comes.
Taz and Sabu didn't famously touch before their big match at Belly Legal, did they?
I mean, if they had it done, that would have been Taz.
I was going to say, who's edging? So
that really sent me over the edging. That's
yeah. Right, more relevant stuff. Synergy.
Foreshadowing. Eddie Thorpe vignette next. He's jealous that Trick has had every single opportunity, and obviously he's constantly been overlooked by Ava. She hasn't got a surname. She's Rock's daughter, general manager of NXT, and the overlooker of Eddie Thorpe, along with Shawn Michaels, who we see the various times that they've got into a bit of a shoving match with each other. Vengeance Day. He wants vengeance, all right, but his day is going to be against Trick Williams. He's got the strap, and he says he'll leave his mark one way or another. Probably the way of being with the strap.
Yeah.
That way, then, Eddie. He's challenged Trick to the strap match, and we'll find out later on how that works out. We then go to another vignette of Ethan Page. It's not so much a vignette, but you see the flashback of when he broke Javon Evans' jaw, and then the doctor is talking about how the jaw is healing on schedule, and he is technically cleared for action again on Saturday. But it's only cleared to a point, and he's worried about the jaw potentially getting re-injured. So he wouldn't necessarily recommend it. He would say it should be more like 6 months, because if he takes another shot to the jaw, it could be all over for Javon at such a young age. It's his choice, ultimately. So that takes us to Javon, who's with Ava. She still hasn't got a surname. She's Rock's daughter, general manager of NXT. And he says, he's cleared, so I'm good. I want the match. Ava warns him about the injury, and says, "Don't worry, I won't let Ethan touch you."
Don't worry, I won't let Ethan touch you.
She gives him a liability waiver for the match, but says, "Please think about it."
Please think about this.
He just signs straight away and goes, "Thought about it," and walks off. And she's like,
She goes like this. Goes.
I was gripped too. So he signed the thing, and we'll get the match at the weekend. There's a little promo with Ethan Page later on, and I'm glad you signed the match. Like, I'm not going to just break your jaw this time. I'm going to absolutely shatter it. So it's back, but it's glass.
Yeah.
So they're going to do something nice for that, probably at Vengeance Day. I think I liked what we had next. It was Hank and Tank versus Josh Briggs and Yoshiki Inamura and the NQCC. I don't think this was announced ahead of time as the number one contenders match, but it ostensibly became one as the action got better and Fraxium were on the podium looking down on it. So pretty quickly, you kind of got the vibe of it. Inamura was in, and it was the first real opportunity in a proper NXT setting to kind of see what he was made of. The match started with him in it and basically doing sort of sumo charges at everybody. He was powering everybody down.
Awesome.
Yeah. And because there was like constant movement around him the whole time, because there was always a minimum of like 3 or 4 guys bouncing around, he looked all the better for it. Should point out, actually, before the match even begun, if you missed NXT last week,
important.
Inamura was given a like leather jacket by Briggs, a leather waistcoat, a vest to wear to kind of like signify their unity as a team. And just once or twice, or thrice, 4 times, or 5 times, or 6 times, or 25 times, he kind of made a reference to that as he entered down the ring. They're matching. I'd say they're the best team in this division. And they kind of proved it here anyway. It's all sort of like quick tags and everything. There's not much psychology to it. There's no real like sort of...
It's just an action-packed
part
little
work, but
three-way sprint.
Loads of action to it.
And Inamura rules.
There's a point in the early going that I really liked where... Inamura does rule, doesn't he? Where Tavion Heights gets quite a lot of shine as well. He manages to sort of burst out of Hank and Tank, attempting to like do the double teams on him and stuff like that. He's a heel with the NQCC, but his offense is pretty interesting, so he gets a big pop as well. Everybody's just quite well liked it. Cuts to Fraxium, and like every time you've got like Nathan Frazier going like, "Amigo, these are quite good," all that sort of like patronizing claps. They're kind of broadly impressed. It all breaks down, can you believe it, when the referee kind of forgets who the legal man is. There's a point where it's either Hank or Tank dives from the top to the pile of bodies on the floor. You think they're going to get the win, but gradually everybody piles back in for the big finish. There's a really great spot where Tavion Heights runs the ropes. Hank is laying on the floor, and he runs the rope with Tank, and he hits like an old-fashioned Tito Santana flying forearm on Tank, and the velocity of the shot sends Tank into doing a senton on Hank. And it's one of them things that shouldn't work, but it is believable because you know how people sell those moves. Which I really quite liked. But Tavion Heights is sent flying. Briggs goes up to the top rope. What else do we have here in this last finish? Briggs goes up. He manages to get like the sort of the goozle on Hank. Hank fights back, knocks Briggs down. Hank leaps towards Briggs. Briggs manages to duck. That allows Inamura to tag in. Briggs hits a massive clothesline, and then Inamura with the space hits the splash from the top. They've got the tag title shot, and that's going to be at Vengeance Day, or is it next week in NXT? No, it's Vengeance Day. Instantly one of the kind of most interesting matches on the card.
I think it'll be the best one by some distance, and the one I'm most looking forward to seeing. 2 things on this, really. Well, 3. 1, fun little action-packed 3-way sprint. That's number 1. 2, as a result of it just being quite fun as opposed to great, don't go out of your way to see it. However, if you're the type of fan who... just keeps up with WWE stuff through this podcast. Now, there's a not inconsiderable number of you. Don't go out and watch the match, but if you're on X, just type Inamura in that search bar, because I think some of his stuff will have been clipped, because he does this move from the top rope where he shakes the top rope, the illusion of giving himself a bit more spring than just this absolutely gigantic splash. 3, not that it matters, because WWE will strap up Cody Rhodes, AEW's Cody Rhodes. They will sign Penta and package him as Penta, and I reckon Ricky Starks might have got that main roster thing if it came at a different time, maybe. Anyway, their talent pipeline is no longer just our guys, developmental guys. It's a different WWE now. So it doesn't matter, but my God, when you get Inamura and Stephanie Vaquer, Dragunov, wrestlers of that ilk in NXT, they look a million times better than everybody else. like
invaluable for the quality of the show and presumably for the wrestlers they're working with.
Yeah.
You would guess.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't see much evidence of it, to be honest. And I'm sorry, Trick, but
Yeah.
the Dragunov, I mean, just Dragunov. Every time I see Trick Williams wrestle, I have a higher opinion of Dragunov, you know?
Yeah.
But my God, this Inamura guy is so fun to watch.
No, he's
Very
great.
creative.
It was great. So yeah, we've got that match again. Fascinated to like the big guys versus the fast guys, but it's not like the monsters are just monsters. Like they've got this like new unity that Fraxium always seem to be like, you know, they're always this close to splitting or whatever. Kind of can't wait for that. So they've done it again.
Yeah.
Another match where you could see Fraxium losing and this being the split, especially with Stand and Deliver oi on the horizon. But we'll see. We go to the family backstage next. Stax says he's sorry that they've, you know, like not really been on the same page of late. Tony's fine about it. He says, we're good, family's good, but it is a cage match, so I need to do this on my own tonight. Don't worry, it's not. I don't hold any beef for you. Stax is still a bit like, really? And Tony's like, yeah, what do we always say? Everybody knows what we always say, you know? The Riz knows, the Chris Fino knows, even Izzy Dames knows what everybody says. What do we say whenever there's trouble? Forget about it. Everything's absolutely fine in the family. What could possibly go wrong?
Nothing could possibly go wrong.
I wish I could say the same for this podcast, because up next is the NXT Heritage Cup match between Lexis King and JDC.
Formerly known as Fandango, but barely known as Dirty Curdy.
Yeah, JDC to me is Johnny Dirty Curtis.
Yeah.
To the point where in his entrance, I don't know, I don't watch TNA, I'm sorry, but I am aware of the system and JDC's place within it. So the system's music plays and it's all like, this industry, this life, it's the system. Don't be the man, be the system. And then like he's sort of doing like Dirty Curty stuff.
Yeah. That's like,
It's
so
like-
what's my motivation? The motivation is we need you to be an anti-authority wrestler. Okay, I'm going to do it real sexy, just like you asked. What?
Weird. It's stinking of cum. Got it. Nobody said that.
I love that. That's one of the all-time great tweets. You know what it's from? It's a picture of what was Ross's dad called? The actor.
The actor's Elliot Gould.
So it's Elliot Gould posing with Alf or something like that. And it's like, I got this picture of you with real sexy, just like you asked. What? I'm going to find this tweet. It's amazing. You find it.
Let me find it. Real sexy, just like you asked. And it's Elliot Gould.
Yes.
Just like you asked. Elliot Gould and Alf.
Yes.
Okay.
Is that Alf?
I think I've got it. Editor, you got those photos of Elliot Gould and Grover. It's Grover from Sesame Street. Sure did, boss. Real effing sexy, just like you asked. What? And this, Grover's on Elliot Gould's back. He's wearing dungarees and a t-shirt with his chest hair out, like kind of pointed like expression. Well, Grover, a Muppet, has got this face on that is just like staring into the distance. Come on, Elliot, let's go.
Yeah.
Like these Muppets are just like built and designed with big smiles. Not this time. Grover's all business, and the business is intercourse. I've never seen that before.
It's great, isn't it?
It's not caption, because it is Grover. He's got long arms. They even miscaptioned Grover. Elliot Gould and the Cookie Monster are out to lunch. The Nookie Monster, more like. Anything to not
Red
talk...
Nook.
Yes.
Red Hook, New
Red
York.
Nook.
Yeah.
That's good stuff. Anyway, JDC from the Jizz.
Taz is going to jizz on Dynamite Live.
He's, of course, wrestling the Heritage Cup champion, Sexist King. He's got his theme, My Way, My Life. Vic Joseph just says, you hear it, Buck. His way, his life. His rules. And the old Heritage Cup rules come on the screen, and then it's like, let's this thing! It's slamming over the top. No rules, one fall to finish. It's a wrestling then.
It's wrestling.
I love that they've done this. Like Booker T. They're like, Vic, Booker, what you make of the big changes to the thing? Well, I'm kind of more of a one fall to a finish guy. So what, like you hated it as much as we did?
Yeah.
Like, why have we had these rules?
I welcome this change. What's so funny about this?
William Regal backstage gnashing his teeth because
Yeah,
he's the only
yeah.
one that fought for this or something.
What I love about this particularly, right, is the character development of Lexis King. And he comes in and say, I live in the shadow of my father. Nah, I'm my own man. That's why I'm no longer Brian Pillman Jr. and I'm Lexus King. I'm my own man. A year later. Am I my own man or am I a good guy? I'm my own man. Great. Great story, Sean. What we're doing here.
My way, my rules, my life, my cup.
My cup, my balls,
Uh,
my cock.
This had the sort of... This is really boring. I'm not going to recap it. Nothing happens for 10 minutes. And then...
Yeah, nothing happens.
Not a thing. And
I'll tell you one thing that does happen. Lexus King forgets the rules that he himself has sought to change.
Yeah.
He's like, well, time to get the towel for the 3 minutes that I've just had. It's you who's changed the rules. I love this idea that Lexus King is so dumb that he forgets the rules that he himself changed.
Yeah, he's...
Was that on purpose? Like,
I think it was like, I regret
he's
it now.
a thick idiot.
Yeah. He is a thick idiot.
Well, so they say you are your real life personality turned up to 11 in this sport.
He's trying, but
Because he's a moron.
they said turn up to 11, but he can only count to 8. He's trying.
Trying his best.
We get the Fandango doing the top rope leg drop that he always did. It was always like a beautiful leg drop the Fandango's got.
To be fair.
But he only gets 2. JDC tries to... he goes up again, but King manages to go at the ropes to crotch him and hits him with a coronation to get the 3. I want to just isolate here that this wasn't bad, and I don't wish for this recap to undermine it, but it wasn't good either. It was just this wrestling happening in front of us. And what stuck out to me was there was a couple of points where
Barely proficient.
Lexus King did like a running attack in the corner where like after he'd done the attack, he like let his legs flow between the top and middle rope. But like by this point, the attack had already happened, so it was just flair for the sake of flair. And I felt like it existed so that like somebody could clip it. Like if you're like the biggest Lexus King fan, every wrestler's got a number 1 fan. You would clip that and you would tweet something like Lexus King, the wrestler that you are. You know, like response to the criticism, like some of the diva stands.
Yeah.
Like
he did that.
Yeah, there was a few of those moments in this match where the moves served no wider purpose, but the idea was isolate that and King's really coming on.
Yeah.
Now that since he's become champion, they say that you want the man to make the cup rather than the cup to make the man. But I think this is a bit of both.
Yeah. God, I mean, this is so boring.
Of course it was. What else did they expect? I love Dirty Curty, but even last week we were a bit like, the best bit was when he looked like he wanted to have sex with his own nipples.
Yeah.
Not the bit where he said, me and you next week for the cup.
Yeah. Well, this is exactly what I expected it to be. Delivered this match, I met my expectations.
Yeah. Bayley's backstage with Ava. She's not happy about Cora Jade being in the match, but neither is Roxanne Perez. It wasn't the outcome either than wanted. Ava says to Roxanne Perez, well, you shouldn't have gotten involved.
Shouldn't have gotten involved.
I did like this from Bayley before she storms off. She says, well, Ava just do that the entire time. Bayley says, well, I will say this for you, Roxanne. At least it's the best you've ever looked, you ugly idiot. And then storms off. I got a bit of a pop for that one. Cora Jade walks in, and Roxanne Perez is all of a sudden acting nice like. Greater in the match. And Cora says, yeah, it's great. I'm going to be champion, and you're going to be there to see it. She leaves. She's been off screen for 1 second. And Roxanne Perez goes, as if Cora Jade couldn't see it like we just did.
Just watch it on YouTube.
I literally turn her shoulder.
Watch it on YouTube.
Just turn her shoulder
on
like
Netflix.
that. She's like, pulling her face
or on the CW network.
Indeed. Ava just looks buzzing with the trouble she has caused.
Yeah.
There's a segment backstage where Fatal Influence are walking down this corridor. The strength in numbers, Sidge, but Kalani Jordan says she doesn't care about that. She'll take down Fallon Henley as soon as she gets another shot. But before she can actually lay out the challenge, Jada Parker walks in and says, look, why are you obsessed with the title? And why are you obsessed with me? Let me and you have another match and we'll determine who's best to fight Fallon Henley for that title. Ashanti the Adonis walks up and goes, pause, rewind. I want Carmen Petrovic to get the title shot. She's beaten both the Reyes and she deserves a shot. Fallon Henley just says, I ain't got any time for this. You figure it out. And they walk off as the three just bicker. Everybody's bickers.
Everyone just bickers. Everyone just bickers.
Bickers until you get a match.
Yep, don't care.
That's the way it works.
Yep, do not care.
It's the Keith Lyons versus Zarya next. I didn't mind any of this, but
there was one bit of a kick where I you ducked like it was going to hurt.
Yeah, it's a squash match, which we'll get to. But the entrance now, where it's again, Zarya, she's from Mad Max Land, it's Zarya. There's you see the vignette of her punching someone's face in slow motion. It's that sand and cars and everything. Daria, lights come up. Daria, and then like from the back, it's Saruka. Us two.
It's Saruka teaming with Zarya.
Zaria's like, we're going to the beach later. I don't know what's going to weird act.
It's what we're doing here.
Is it going to get over? Because it's very NXT.
Everything gets over in NXT.
Beach training, I want to see the vignette.
Got cultish, slavish devotion fan base. People on Twitter who just, and then you got Wilborn. Just these undiscerning
All 3 demos.
fools.
All the 3 demos of NXT. Yeah, it's basically a squash where Zarya is going to get the win and shows that she can overpower Nikita Lyons, but it's not without some pretty decent like counters and just, as you say, like a couple of very like convincing strikes and a lot of intent in this one.
Aye. I was shocked.
Like Zarya hits like a couple, like drills her with a couple of pump kicks, like tries to get on a waist lock for a suplex, but Nikita reverses it and just does a release German suplex, which hoys her halfway across the ring. She tries to go up to the top rope, but Zarya is able to stop that. Tries to go for a powerbomb, which Nikita Lyons manages to counter into a Hurricane Rana. They both get back up to the feet, and Zarya ducks, again, that big swing, and this time she hits the release German. They're both now back up. They both go for big clotheslines. Nikita ducks one, but is unfortunately struck with a roundhouse by Zarya. On the other side, there's a camel clutch from Nikita on Zarya, at which she does the split as well, because she's never not doing faces and sex stuff, Nikita Lyons.
No,
that's the thing with her.
She loves to come.
She loves to come. One of the many orgasms in this match from Nikita Lyons. But Zarya fights to her feet and then manages to lift her up and drop her back onto the floor. At this point, Zarya's got control. Nikita gets a desperation big knee and goes up top for her Vader bomb, but Zarya's able to move out the way, drills her with a spear, and then the F5. It's 3 minutes?
Yeah, probably spent too long on the recap.
I don't know. I liked it more than the proper matches, I got to tell you.
Yeah, same here. Same here. Bit of intent behind this.
Gotta say.
Some decent connection and intent.
Then we get the Ethan Page saying he's going to shatter John Evans' jaw at Vengeance Day. Then there is an aerial shot, Sidge, of one of the... Well,
Can I say that Matthew Randazzo 5 claims that Taz nutted just to cover our backs?
Yeah. Covered his back in jizz because he was in that swimming costume gear.
It was a comeback. Don't call it a comeback.
It's good stuff. Come if I let you. Speaking of Taz,
Beat me off if you can.
If I let you. Speaking of great nights in Taz's career, Sidge, like the time he came in the middle of the ring, Madison Square Garden, the home of Taz's biggest pop and the pop that killed his career because the Fed used to be stupid like that. There was an aerial shot of the Garden will always be the Garden because NXT is running the theatre at Madison Square Garden on March the 11th.
Yes.
The site for old heads of the Lions Den match at SummerSlam 98. No stop sign, speed limit between Ken Shamrock and Owen Hart. NXT is going to be there. The Garden is always the Garden.
It's always the Garden.
Not the Gardens.
Yeah.
I'll take this seriously. Can't wait for that. Sarah Schreiber is with Trick Williams. Asks about the strap match. Trick says, yeah, if you want it, you can have it, but ultimately you'll have to deal with me and realise that when you're looking into my eyes, you're going to find somebody that's going to whoop that Trick. He wants his title back, but if he's got to fight Eddie Thorpe, then so be it. He's going to beat him and we're going to get Trick and over one more time, aren't we?
Yeah.
Vic, Corey and Booker are running down the Vengeance Day card one last time before the main event until the graphic is broken up by a voice, a very familiar voice, saying, this feels right, this feels real good about now. And the camera cuts back into the arena where Ricky Starks is in the crowd. Vic goes, holy crap! And there's a massive Ricky Starks chant. And he says, well, it's obvious you know who I am. Good job, because he didn't say his name. What's that about?
I think someone, might be Sean Ross Sapp, don't want to put words in anyone's mouth. I don't like dimly recalling, just said it's not a coincidence that his name was not uttered.
Yeah, we will see, I guess, on that one. It did come just a couple of days after another round of NXT name generating names appeared online. One called I don't know, Trill Golden or something.
Yeah, something like that.
Couldn't be, could it? Anyway, he says, I hear that NXT is the future of professional wrestling. If NXT is the future...
Jason. That could be Mally Black.
Braxton, absolutely. Corey Jason. You need an absolute superstar of the future. If this is the hottest brand, you need the hottest free agent right now. Don't let the handsome face and expensive fragrance fool you. I'm here to turn this place upside down. Everyone's asking when the Revolution will be televised again. Well, I'm here now, aren't I? And the fans obviously continue to chant Ricky Starks, and he's only walked down. He's not gone to the ring. The cage is set up for the main event, so he's walked down at the steps. He said that around the fans. Big pop for him. Apart from one guy who I couldn't take my eyes off, who was literally just sat on his phone. I'm slightly concerned he was Googling him and then like holding up and looking. He doesn't stand up once or even clap.
Yeah.
But otherwise, everybody's absolutely buzzing.
Yeah.
Ricky Starks is in NXT.
Yes, and now he's no longer the Pebble, and he's no longer a Wish Rock. He's now a game changer who Tony Khan fumbled. And if you want to know if he actually fumbled him or not, you should listen to our podcast, Fumble or No Fumble. We had a lot of fun recording it with some good insight too. This was, good, not great, different. Completely different rule out to Penta. That's never not a bad thing at all. The men's division in NXT needs Ricky Starks significantly more. Like, significantly more than the main roster does. The main roster doesn't really need anyone.
No.
At this point, maybe, post-WrestleMania, but WrestleMania, that looks busy. So, good move for all sides. He's obviously wanting to go there for what feels like 3 years. As soon as Cody dipped, he wanted to, it seems like, we can finally say it now. Yeah. He wants to go to WWE. And Tony Khan knows he wants to go to WWE. Now that he's in WWE, we can finally stop the playing dumb nonsense that was really, really starting to annoy me.
Yeah. And I guess we'll see, presumably at Vengeance Day, what the next move is for him, because one would imagine he'll be there in some sort of significant role. Yeah. Speaking of significant roles at Vengeance Day, there's a moment backstage between Julia and Stephanie Vaquer where Julia wishes her good luck for the North American title match on Saturday, and Stephanie wishes her the same back, but then does say, you realise when I win that title, there's only one more thing for me to do on this show. And before either of them can ponder that moment, Ridge Bloody Holland walks in the way because he's on way to Ring Fit main event. So the D'Angelo family, but before we get to the main event stage, and we're nearly there, Andre Chase, bless him, still a broken man, just walking the halls, looking for purpose in life. And he bumps into Cale Dixon, this guy, Chase U super fan that we've seen the last few weeks. He's buzzing, he's jazzing, saying that, we're pre-gaming for the main event, Mr. Chase, come and join. By the way, imagine that just for a second, pre-gaming for this main event.
I know.
You'd never attend one of his parties ever again, would you? Oh, cool, what are we sitting down for then? Super Bowl? Like big Game of Thrones finale? Ridge Holland, Tony D'Angelo. I'll probably get off. Senator, you've come to the wrong house party, Senator. He introduces Andre Chase to Uriah Connors, and the two of them are like, oh yeah, Chase U, greatest time of all our lives. Says, why don't you come out with us after the main event tonight? We're all going out on the piss. It's going to be class. Join us. And Andre Chase says, nah, come on, guys. You know I can't. Not on a school night. And then sort of he suddenly goes, and then because Uriah Connors just does not pick up social cues, like, Chase U's closed, you stupid old fool. And Cale Dixon's like, shut up. And Andre Chase is like, you're right, it is dead. Guess old habits die hard. And then he just stumbles off.
That was the theme of the night, wasn't it? Somebody else said it earlier.
Old habits die hard.
Yeah, I can't remember who.
So
I don't care to remember.
I bet it was when Lexis King was asking for a timeout.
Yep.
And Chase and Uriah seemingly, like, do they want to relaunch Chase U? Is that what's happening?
It's pretty grim given news, but yeah, it seems that way.
Chase U.0.
Chase U.0. We've done this.
Okay. We have definitely covered
we're
across that. That's good. Yeah. Right, main event time.
I don't know whether to be relieved.
It's Tony D'Angelo, North American champion, defending against Ridge Holland in a steel cage, kind of like the last time the two of these are going to fight, hopefully. It's all very basic steel cage stuff with bigger guys where it's like it's got a real 80s steel cage, a WWF 80s steel cage. Only
except without the electricity.
I was going to say those ones were red hot and had Hulk Hogan in them normally. Yeah. And this is neither of those things.
Ridges bumps headfirst into the cage. Up I go. Up I go again.
Down I fall.
Up I go. Down I fall.
It is that. Run into the cage, bump in the ring.
It's like his career, but without the up.
Run into the cage, bump into the ring.
Yeah, without the up part. I mean, it's just so...
a lot of people pressing the uppers and downers when Ridge is on the
boring.
It's a bit where he's got, like, Tony D in, how would you, like, the beat of the boardroom position, so he's, like, in between the ropes and the cage, and he pulls Tony D back and, like, starts leathering him with these forearms that don't look or sound much, truthfully. And then I think you see actually Tony D call the spot like, throw me the cage. So he just like pushes his face against the cage, and Vic Joseph is trying to sell her. It's like, what there was lying, it's like cheese falling off the grater. And it's like, this is the least one of those cage matches ever.
Yeah, there's no blood in it.
Gotta try
There's no
and put it
blood,
over.
Vic.
Nobody buys it. The spot that I think everybody's probably going to want us to get to, and it kind of sums up the match and how this is this go-nowhere anti-chemistry steel cage match. They've kind of both been brawling. It's all very standard and stoic, but they both get kind of up to their feet at the same time. And Ridge goes for one of his like devastating, like full-arm lariat clotheslines, and there's just a miscommunication. Like I can't tell if Tony D has misheard, like, duck my clothesline, Tony, or he said, really sell the danger of this clothesline, Tony. So we get a bit of a halfway house between the two. Tony's halfway to ducking, but Ridge still catches his neck.
Crumply crap.
They just they crumble bumbos to the ground.
Crumply crap.
Yeah. It's a grapple crumble.
Yes.
So they go at the ground. They go at the ground. It's not good. That's a good L. So at this point, like, nobody kind of knows who's supposed to be selling and not. So Tony just picks up Ridge. And immediately tries to get the fans back on side. Pretty cool, this by just doing the toss powerbomb into the cage.
Yeah.
Got to get it back somehow because they're all groaning at that one. Hits a spear. Cover gets 2, but there's a big dramatic kick out. Izzy Dame on the floor. She's like rooting around her jacket. She's got a crowbar. Tony has said he wants to do this on his own. So Stax intervenes as she tries to throw the crowbar into the ring. And then Stax has a moment. He's like, forget about it. And throws the crowbar in himself. So I guess he's the one that wants to be responsible for Tony's win. The crowbar is now in the cage, and the two men fight over it. There's a bit of a tug of war. Ridge overpowers Tony, smashes him in the stomach and the back with it. And then Tony's like sort of sitting up and he's dazed. And Ridge hits this incredible, I'm going to christen it the hidden blade, because it's like a running, devastating clothesline from behind. He just kind of like rugby tackles.
Yeah.
Small with his back.
He just
pit,
crumples down. Crumply
like
crap.
Tony, however, like hot near fall, because the 2 shots with the crowbar and the finisher, you do think it's over, but Tony gets the kick out. Ridge is absolutely furious. He goes to get the crowbar, like, I'm going to finish you for good, you little weirdo. But he goes to swing. Tony manages to get the eyes, steals the crowbar, hits him once with the crowbar, drills him with a forget about it, and retains the title. Ridge Holland is vanquished forever. It's all celebrations with the family, but it's all about the post-match, this, isn't it? Ridge Holland goes out of the ring, nails Stax into Luca Crucifino as they were trying to come into the cage. So the 3 of them kind of like brawl off to the back, and Izzy Dame and the Riz go into the ring to tend to Tony, who's like recovering, he's selling and everything. But then all of a sudden, Sean Spears, Nico Vance, and Brooks Jensen make their way down to the ring.
Encroaching.
I don't like this. Sean Spears is like
nasty.
Is that what we're going for with Sean Spears?
Is this anything?
What do you reckon of this, Brooks? Well, I ain't having sex, Sean, so what I have to do. So yeah, they're kind of starting to approach the ring, and Izzy Dame's like, Riz, you go deal with him. So she goes to try and keep the door shut, and then like Tony D powers up. He says, "You keep your hands off Riz," and Izzy's got the crowbar and she's ready to help, and then she takes the one step back, and the fans realize what's going to happen, and she smashes Tony D with the crowbar. Sidge.
He's your brother. What are you doing?
Riz turned around and
what are you doing? He's your brother.
At this point, the goons all get in the cage.
He's your brother. What are you doing?
Izzy Dame choke slams Riz while she's still in shock. The 4 of them beat down Tony D'Angelo. This is pretty good. Obviously, they're smashing all hell out of him with the steel chair, because that's Sean Spears' bit, right? They're battering him with the steel chair. Stax and Luca run back out, obviously having dealt with Ridge, and literally Stax dies at the cage, and I think it's Sean Spears, or it might have been Brooks Jensen, just like swings the chair at the cage, and you actually buy that, like, oh, my fingers!
My fingers, oh,
you got me in the fingers, boss! So they can't interfere, they can't get in the cage has been locked up. It's very Von Erichs in the 80s at this point, like the crowd.
I've been back in Dallas.
They're trying to get in the cage. NXT may as well have been the Sportatorium. But in the meantime, Sean Spears is set up. He's got Tony D. It's not bad, actually. He's got him on his back. He does a Death Valley driver onto the chair in the ring. And his plan is successful to trap Tony D like a rat in a cage as NXT goes off the air. Izzy Dame's motivations were nasty all along.
Indeed. This match was terrible, so dull. The most, up I go into the mesh. Like this the most lifeless, limp, crumbly crap cage bumps you've ever seen. There's anything to just moves not done well. Just moves not done well. Get away on the tin. And then, my God.
New NXT wrestler, Ron Seal.
Ron Seal, Ridge Seal. Just exactly what it says on tin. I feel sorry for him, but he's the most doesn't have it wrestler I've seen in years, especially because like there's a lot of good wrestling. So it's quite boring actually. He should be refreshing, but he's not. The amount of time they've invested in Sean Spears, Tony D makes me think that he's getting the title.
Oof.
Do you know what I mean? Like these things don't go on for that long. If it's, I think sorry, Wilborn, but
I'd free Tony D up for a shot at Obafemi, wouldn't it?
A little free Britt Starks up for Sean Spears, maybe, because Obafemi's got the title for a long time.
I mean, okay.
He's going to have to fight someone in this men's division, and they pretty much are all boring.
Yeah.
So Ricky Starks has got his work cut out for him.
Starks and Spears, memory man, have they fought before? Spears wouldn't have still been hanging around with MJF by the time them two came together, would he? So they're probably...
Yeah, no, I don't think that's something on bloody Rampage or whatever.
It was me thinking the first time match might be that interesting, and yet it didn't.
Yeah.
Who knew? Let us know your thoughts on this. It was eventful. I'd love to hear what you think about Ricky Starks. As Sidge points out, we've just done a Fumble or No Fumble podcast on the releases from AEW. Oh, no, you can't press that if that's what I think you're going to press, because it turns out we got a copyright flag for that music, and Nicholas has had to like dive in and edit it in order to get it back online. There is a hilariously unsuitable replacement in place of it.
Okay.
But yeah, it turns out the Door or No Door music, somebody out there, sorry guys,
My apologies.
but yeah, I don't know, he's done it for years and we've gotten away with it, but maybe the creator of that fine tune wants to reach out and we can come to some agreement, because it is a bit of a classic here.
I love it.
Yeah, it's really good, isn't it? We can listen to it when we've gone off the air, of course. And you can listen to us live and in person, whatculture.com/tickets, if you want to join us on the What Culture Wrestling World Tour. Once again, we're going to be in Manchester, Belfast, Glasgow, and London, and ending in Las Vegas over WrestleMania weekend. If you want to interact with any of us on X or Twitter, you can do at WhatCultureWWE, where they can also find you, Sidgwick, at
M. Sidgwick.
You can find me at Michael Hamflett. And until next time, we will see you soon.